Age of Wonders 4 is a standard bearer in the 4X genre because of both its competence and its confidence. Its back-of-the-box feature list is one of major adjustments and greater customization among series' existing features, rebalancing its genre hybridization by choosing to double down on the hero and RPG mechanics that have always been there. The result is a sequel that plays like a supercharged version of the leader-focused strategy titles that make up its lineage, and also ensure that it's nearly impossible to put down. It wraps its decisions in an approachable framework, and its friendliness towards genre newcomers is rivaled only by its endless capacity for wonder. Age of Wonders 4 isn't defined by what it does, but the extent to which it does. Because tying a lot of your strength and decisions behind powerful hero units isn't exactly new to the series, to 4X, or to strategy in general. And yet Age of Wonders makes it feel new because of how sharply it focuses on it. That emphasis can be felt right from character creation, where both a hero and the armor they lead can be intimately designed down to the smallest of details. Race, culture, and other such decisions are made all the more meaningful not because of their quantity but their modularity. Sure, you can play industrial, hardy, Tolkien-like dwarves, but those default attributes are merely that, defaults. You can instead make them mystic seafarers led by a wizard king if you want. Hell, feel free to make them a little taller while you're at it. In another one of my sessions, I had crafted a band of zealous imperial frogmen, whose holy fervor had them spreading their religion with a blade's edge. Ownership is the operative word here. The thoroughness of the hero and army building systems all reinforce how unique any one run will be, and how connected you will be to it because it feels like your own creation. There's this general trend within Age of Wonders 4 to take genre strategy tenets and play up their thematic and visual significance. Anytime you make minor improvements to your army like poison or flame arrows, you'll get this brief visual representation of the change. It's a waving banner to showcase the game's malleability, and is seen most transparently when it comes to race transformations. Both minor and major adjustments to your units will happen mid-playthrough, whether by accident when stumbling across a wonder or intentionally by the process of the game's magic progression system. Because the customization doesn't stop within character creation. Every turn that passes is not only filled with the traditional 4X staple of Empire expansion, but also with the more intimate progression and transformation of your units and heroes. A new greatsword for your warrior king is of equal or greater importance to that new mining facility you built next to your throne city, as is your mystic seafaring dwarves ascending into ethereal beings. It verges on being this emergent storytelling game in its own weird way, the cherry on top of which is elements it borrows from 2019 RPG Wildermyth. Successful completion of a run will welcome your hero into a cross-game meta pantheon, from which the game will pull them randomly into future playthroughs as recurring side characters. Win or lose, you also further a cosmetic unlock system which not only acts as a fun bonus for playing the game long term, but also just one more modifier for you to visually distinguish your units and make them all the more unique. It works on levels and grabbed me in ways that this genre typically does not. Because despite the fact that the series has always been strategy with RPG elements, it feels like that balance has been shifted quite a bit so they're now both of equal importance. Because Age of Wonders 4 feels like this playable outreach program designed for RPG fans, and unsurprisingly that's very intentional. In an interview with the video game branch within Sports Illustrated, the game director reveals that role-playing the ruler of a fantasy empire was an internal design mantra that influenced nearly every aspect of the game. It's why character customization trumps the series' existing lore boundaries, it's why there's some super crazy ability combos that basically throw any semblance of balance out the window, and though not overtly stated, I suspect that's why it's much more approachable than a lot of its peers. Because Age of Wonders 4 is undoubtedly a game of tremendous depth, but it's also one with way more guardrails than I'm used to for this kind of thing. There's simplifications that were appreciated by me, but I can't help but wonder what your more explicitly 4X loving 1000-hour and Stellaris types would make of them. Guardrails like the fact that the magic progression system isn't picked from an extensive tree, but instead gets doled out to you piecemeal roguelike style, presenting you with a decision among 3 options every couple of turns, with a spend for reroll button if you don't like any of them. Guardrails like the fact that ending your turn will automatically shift all relevant units into a defensive posture even if you didn't specify. Guardrails like the fact that manual and auto battles can be worked in tandem, with the former acting as an appeals process to overturn unfavorable results from the latter. Couple that with a low-ish default 3-city soft cap and a low-ish default 150 turn cap, means that unless you specifically push your settings or playstyle in that particular direction, you'll seldom stumble into a kingdom that's too fatiguingly big to manage, and even without any history with the genre, you're unlikely to be overwhelmed by choice or complexity. The sort of do this now advisor-like pop-ups you'll get on the right-hand side won't snowball into unwieldy territory, with the frequent flyers just being city production, knowledge production, and whatever emergent map-relevant items that need your attention, like leveling up a hero, accepting a quest, or settling some sort of dispute. It's welcoming in a way that I wasn't expecting, but it also ensures that doesn't come at the cost of strategic depth. Age of Wonders 4 has many decisions to make, even if they're presented to you in simple ways. It's still no doubt combat-oriented by genre standards. Of its 4 win conditions, one of them is in essence just a tiebreaker, which had me leaning towards military might almost every session I spent with it. But that's also an opportunity to spend time with its great turn-based combat system for when you encounter enemy factions or independent monsters out in the world map. Maybe one of the few areas of opportunity within Age of Wonders 4 is the fact that the more micro-level combat encounters don't have the same variety that your macro-level map decisions do, at least not until the late game. All the more faction-specific units that would result in different playstyles are in later tiers of your production pipeline, or summons that demand many turns of magical knowledge acquisition. The first 25 minutes of any given playthrough is largely going to be utilizing the same warrior, mage, archer, and cavalry unit archetypes with different skins until you've developed far enough along. The one great exception to that rule are the heroes themselves, within which there's a tri-pronged progression system of skills, traits, and equipments. Their spell usage governs both in-battle spells, but importantly also map-level spells, which run the gamut from simple exploration boons to full unit transformations, and some of my favorites which ended up just being direct damage smites to weaken or outright kill enemy units on the map without the need for combat. They act as a banner to rally behind when it comes to how you want to tell your faction, like how my rat sorceress favored chipping away at enemies before a true engagement, but my halfling warrior king wanted to get right in there with his sword. The armies themselves don't always match that energy until you get the late game warriors or stumble into some of the more fantastical units you can pick up along the way, might and magic style, but it does eventually get there, outside of seafaring combat whose unit and level variety feel like kind of an afterthought. But lack of variety within early game and seafaring combat only stand out because the rest of the game presents such a high bar to clear. Because Age of Wonders 4 is superb. It delivers on its 4X fundamentals with fun customization twists. It venerates your prior playthroughs by weaving them into a meta tapestry that brings back old favorites. It marries its strategic decisions to significant visual changes, and its newfound focus on modularity even has the added bonus of being mod-friendly, coming out the gate with mod support via the Steam Workshop. Its willingness to borrow from other genres and even rebalancing its existing genre mixture makes it feel like something entirely new, something more akin to an RPG 4X than it is a 4X RPG. And though that new distribution may not be for everyone, it's absolutely for me.